My name is Barry McLean, McLean.
When were you born?
Oh my goodness, 1932.
1932.
Yeah, I'm an old man.
When's your birthday?
February 5th,
Okay. And where were you born?
Los Angeles. I was raised and born in Los Angeles.
Wow. And you don't live too far
No,
still. Wow. Did you also enlist in the Marine Corps from LA?
yes, of course.
See.
Yes, I wanted to get in the Air Force. And in high school, we had a flying class, believe it or not. Isn't that something for high school?
What high school did you go
I
to?
went to Garfield High School, and we had a class that taught aeronautics and weather and everything you had to know about an airplane. And
Wow.
we had a link trainer even, which to learn to fly. And after that, we went out to the airfield. We had an airfield, and the Navy, there were Navy pilots, and they took us up in Cessnas. And the first thing they would ask us, what's this on the airplane? What's that on the airplane? That's the ailerons, I would say, and that's the elevator, and this is a trim. And they'd say, okay, you sit in front with me. And the other two, you sit in the back, because you don't know nothing.
That is great. I think that school still exists.
We would fly down the coast, come back up and land at Douglas Air. Those big flying wings, have you heard of those big flying wings that they had during the war? Anyway,
Yeah,
the
please.
tires on are 6 feet, big airplanes, and we'd land there. And then one of the pilots said to me one day, you know what, you're about ready to qualify for solo flying. And I said, really? I said, I want to join the Air Force. He said, why don't you go there and talk to the recruiter? Oh boy, that was something else. I did. I walked in there, and this big sergeant looked down on me and said, and what do you want? I said, well, I want to join the Air Force. How old are you? And I said, well, I'm 16, sir. He said, well, you better go to college for a couple of years and then come back and see me, because you're not ready. I said, yes, sir, and I ran out. There was about 10 of us, and we were from 2 different grades. And they were starting this. We said, okay, so 2 went in the Navy, 2 went in the Air Force. They didn't fly, but they went in the Air Force. 2 went in the Marine Corps, me and one other guy, and 2 went in the Army. I was from my relatives. I was told that the Marine Corps has the best training in the world, if you're going into the service. So that's where I went, and it was true. A lot of the guys that were in the Army were drafted in the Army, looked like they didn't want to be there, but they had to go. But the people in the Marine Corps were there because they wanted to be there. It was a different community.
Wow.
And went over to Korea, landed at Incheon, Walmingdu, and fought there for a little bit, very, very little, because most of the North Koreans took off after we landed. And we went up to Incheon, to Seoul. And then I got a map with me today. I brought a map of all the places we went.
Let's see it.
And we went finally all the way up to the Chosan Reservoir, which was Incheon at the time. I did something. Here's the map I brought along, so I can remember where I was.
So this is the map that we're looking at.
And
All right.
that shows where we went.
Yeah.
From all the different names, the Pusan Perimeter and Wonju and Wonsan.
Mm-hmm.
Wonsan is where we came when we came back down and got on ships. We walked from Hagaru to Chinhungni, which was about 30 miles, in 30 degrees below zero weather, which was very, very cold. My feet are still messed up a little bit.
Oh, I see.
Ugly. Sent me a camera. But that little girl there, I saw her standing there, and I offered her some food, some K rations or A rations, whatever they are, and she went like this and walked away. And then she came back, and she brought this with her.
Really?
I might cry. Every time I see it, I get upset. gave me that for food. And I gave her the food and she gave me that. That's like this, you know. That's all she had.
Oh my goodness.
So I kept it as a souvenir.
Wow.
There's not much of us, you know, not a diamond or anything like that, but it's beautiful. We took aboard, they said 1,000 refugees also, as many as we could get on board. And I think a couple babies were born. Well, we were on the ships. And we came down to Seoul and got out of there, you know. I got hit right. You can see a little mark right here on my eye.
Yeah.
That little mark right there, that's awfully close. If we went there, I would have lost my eye. But I didn't. It was just right there. Anyway, I took off and I started looking for the people. And there was a guy named Fellis. And he was our truck driver. He was riddled. He was totally dead. I found him. I found another guy with a shoulder hit. And then I found another guy. And I said, keep calm. The medics are on their way. You'll be out of here very quickly. So just keep calm, you know. And they said, okay. They felt they relaxed, you know. And then the medics came and took everybody away that were alive or dead. They took away everybody. And I went back to where the two guys were watching the ammunition that was on fire, you know. It was put out because it was dark. You could tell if it was burning or not. And they said, no, the fire's out, we've gone. He said, but two people came here to talk to us. And I said, yes, who are they? I said, we don't know. They looked like they were officers. They had full uniforms on, you know, with the coats they wore in the cold. And they had just left. They were walking away when I got there. And I said, I don't know. They just wanted to find out what happened. Well, I forgot all about it after that. Went on to business, you know. And found out later, much later, that they awarded Charlie Magana and Hill the Silver Star. You know, and when they saw this blood coming down my face, they said, here, this is for you. In a box, they gave me the box, and it said, call the medic. Or if you want, go where the medics are at. I said, where are they at? They're up the road, about 1 mile, if you want to walk. I said, no way am I going to go up a dark road in the middle of the night looking for a medic. I'm going to stay right here where it's safe, you know. So I didn't go. I stayed right there, and they put a patch on my eye. And next morning, they had a pile of clothing they were burning, get rid of it. They didn't want to leave anything for the Chinese, you know. And then show the picture of the convoy leaving the Chosan Reservoir. They invited me to lunch.
Is that you in the?
And one of those is me.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's me right there. And they invited me for lunch. Yeah. I also took a picture of the convoy leaving the Chosan Reservoir, which was interesting. For history, I didn't realize it was going to be history, but it isn't. This is the picture I took. On the right side, you see the convoy, the trucks.
I do.
And then on the other side, you see a lot of smoke. Well, we burnt the town down. The town of Chosan, we totally burnt it down, so that the Chinese had no place to stay. You know, they went there. There was no place to stay. You know, so no covered for them, because there was I don't know how many they said they came down there. 300,000 Chinese,
I heard.
or something like that. That was a lot of Chinese. You know, and they had no place to stay. So, well, that's just a picture of one of the power plants that was involved in near Chosan. This I don't understand.
That's the note of the power plant.
I don't understand this really.
Oh.
So I cut it out of the paper and brought it along anyway, but it's from an old newspaper. You might want to look at that. You know what it says? It says B-29s bombed this thing, and when they drove away, they looked like a mushroom cloud coming up from it, like an atomic bomb. But there was no that's all. There was no other facts about it, you know? Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
It was weird to see that. Like atomic bomb went off, but it wasn't an atomic bomb, I guess. I don't know.
Right.
Boy, it was cold up there. We huddled in our clothes. We didn't really have really good clothes to wear, but we had what we had, and it was like 30 degrees below zero. We did the best we could.
And you also took this photo.
I don't know if I did or not. I can't
Okay.
remember. I think I did.
Wow.
I'm not sure. I don't know who else would. Here's what my son's gonna bring that. I wish I had it with me today. It's at home. And I left it home. It's my hat, that part of my uniform that I was wearing when I left there. I was in total rags. Total rags, just like a hobo or whatever you want to say. And that's the hat that I was wearing. I still have it. I kept it. Well, these are just guys sitting along there. I don't think I took this picture. Can't remember taking that one either. Well, I guess I didn't take this one, but this is me with my hat and my BAR. And a smirk on my face. Is that the same one?
Yes.
They got a bigger one there too, huh?
So this hat in the photo is
This hat.
sitting right here.
Yep,
Oh my.
yep.
This is
I brought
so
it home
cool.
with me.
Can I touch it?
Oh, absolutely. You can try it
Oh
on
wow,
if
it's
you want.
heavy.
I know.
Oh my
I
god.
lost about 3 inches in height wearing it.
It's heavy.
I got one of these at a surplus store a long time ago.
Wow.
The hat has a history too.
Yeah, please tell us.
Let me tell you the history of the hat.
Yeah.
We had a Marine named Mummert, and he stunk. He didn't clean himself or wash himself, and pretty soon we could smell him from here to the door. So me and some other guys got together and said, you know what, we can't, geez, get out of here. So we put water in the hat and put it over the fire, and got it hot, and said, here, go wash your face, go wash up, here. He took it, and you know what he did? He made tea out of it. That was it. I didn't see him after that. However, interestingly enough, years later, and I don't remember what year it was, he was here in the United States. I saw him walk in a restaurant. We were there eating, and he comes walking in. And we said, Boomer, is that you? Yes, it is. I said, he's working for sparkling water delivery.
Really?
He's delivering sparkling water. And he, he's all clean and shaved there and everything really nice, And he goes, oh my God,
Oh wow.
interesting. What else we got here? You got a Western Union message to my father that I'm coming home. You want to see that?
Yeah.
Okay, here it is.
Wow.
Telling my father I'm coming home.
Did you work as a journalist or something? You kept all these things.
I don't know. My father was Irish, but my mother was full Italian. Okay? And io capisco tutte cose italiane. Anyway, we lived with him. In his backyard, he built a what do you call it? A place to cook stove? What do you call
Yes.
it? A baking thing, like a dome. And out of bricks and stuff. And then you would put wood there, you make a fire, you get it real hot, and then you bake your bread. He sent us a bread. But when we got the bread, it was so hard, we put it in the can and we fired it at the canopy. And he thought that was the funniest thing he ever heard. It was, you couldn't break it or nothing. We pound on it. It was so, like a rock. But I told him that. We started writing with women here back in the United States, young ladies, and like making a contact with them. And I didn't think I was very handsome or anything like that, but we had one guy there that was, he should have been a movie star.
Oh.
And so I would send his picture to these ladies back there. And they wrote back, whoa, we want to meet you. Oh my God, here's a group that is with us when we finally got back down to a place where it was safe to be. Here's the whole group right there. Howitzer cannon aiming up in the air like this. That means that the round's going to go up high and come straight down again. It's not going to go very far. Here's a picture of me and my howitzer. somebody took that picture, me and my house are, I mean, we, you could not bring any automatic weapons home. And that meant Thompson submachine guns, which I had, picked it up. You know, that's when it, and so I took it apart and threw the pieces on different directions all over the place. I didn't want to give it to nobody. Just took it apart and threw it all over the place.
Yeah.
And I have a Russian rifle, of course. You can't hit nothing with it. You get inside a barn, you could not hit any wall in the barn. A lot of things happened in the service. We made a alcoholic beverage called Kickapoo Joy Juice.
What joy juice?
Kickapoo.
Kickapoy?
Kickapoo Joy Juice. There were several ways to make it. One way was to, the medic, doctor, we went and had a doctor, he would give us some alcohol. And we mixed that about 50% with water. And then we'd take one of those lifesaver sticks like that and drop it in there and give it flavor. And man, it'll knock you on your butt. Whew. Probably make you blind too if you drank too much of it. But some of them put fruit like pears or peaches in the juice into a metal container and buried it in the ground for about a couple of weeks before coming back to the area. And when he dug it up, it, oh boy, whew, knock you on your butt. Then finally we got some beer. The Army got beer a lot, and they saved it up. They got drunk one time, and they got overrun by Chinese and had a big problem. They didn't want us to happen. And we were very, when that hole I was in with those other guys, they were over there a little ways, about a couple of 100 yards. And we understand they got attacked in the middle of the night after a nice beer drinking contest and had a hard time with the Chinese. So things like that happened. There was all kinds of things that happened in the service.
What does kickapoy mean?
Kickapoo, it's just it could be that, I don't know, I'll be honest with you, it could be something that came out of the Appalachians, the hillbillies. You know, it's just Kickapoo Joy Juice. You know, and blue.
I see on your hat you have some writing.
Well, let me tell you about those on there.
Yeah.
These guys got the Medal of Honor.
Oh.
These are big deals. Big deals. Let me get my glasses again. My made in Italy glasses I got. Oh, Lewis Millet. Lewis Millet
The DSLR.
was Army, but he was a heck of a guy, nice guy. And he said, why the heck, yes. He said, we did it in World War II and we did it in Korea. And I said, well, what did you do? He said, we were fighting the Chinese and they yelled out, fix bayonets. I mean, just put your bayonet in your rifle, we're gonna charge. And he charged them. He said there was Chinese running in all different directions. Scared the hell out of everybody. El Rascon, yeah, he came up from North California. Oh, he covered a guy with his body and saved his life, but he got shot too. They gave him one. And then there's one in here I really think. Here's Ray Davis. Have you ever heard of Ray Davis?
Oh, I think so.
Ray Davis was a wonderful person. He's a little guy. He got the Medal of Honor. Wonderful person. Ray, he signed here, Korea, December 1950. Yeah.
And he signed it in December 1950?
No, he signed it when I showed it, but he put down when he was there.
Okay.
Well, here, that's the dates he was there in December 1950.
This is
Bill Rasco.
gonna be like a treasure. Yeah.
Here, Ray Murray. Ray Murray has down at Oceanside. And he's got a flagpole, and I met him. I had his picture somewhere.
Yeah,
And then
I saw it.
we didn't bring it.
No, or even Mullet. We had a picture of Mullet too.
Yeah, it's at home. And there's one more on here somewhere. Who's the guy that they have the park now named after him?
Oh, Barber, Colonel Barber.
Barber, yeah,
Oh.
Barber. Colonel
Oh, he
Barber.
signed.
He signed it too. He got the Medal of
I
Honor
mean,
too.
Orange County, Orange
Yeah.
County,
It's just memories, you know.
yeah.
But nobody made a cooking pot out of one except me, I think.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, have you always been able to talk about the Korean War? I heard from some veterans they couldn't for a while after they got back.
Well, it's their personal problem, not the Korean War problem. Like when I started to get a little few tears when I started talking about the little girl. Certain little things upset you. And I'm 84 years old. They still bother me, you know? Yeah, 84. But they still bother me when I talk about it. So I don't talk about it. My nose gets stuffed up if I do. And that's about it. I don't know what else to say. There's a few other things that happened. Many other things happened. What's the lady's name that was the nurse?
Lillian Kyle,
Lillian Kyle. Oh my God.
flight nurse.
If you walk in here, you think, what is this? A little nun or something? Lillian Kyle was a nurse, and she flew every mission there was over to the Chosun to pick up the wounded.
Wow.
And they were going to make her a captain on the way home, but she didn't stay in long enough to make captain. Almost, they were going to make her a captain. She was a stewardess to start with, and then a nurse, and then she flew every mission there was that I could think of, back and forth out of the Chosun Reservoir with the wounded.
She was also World War.
Yeah, and there was one I saw where one of the wounded asked her, "Am I going to live?" And she said, "Don't worry, son, you're going to be fine." I went to her house several times. She lived in Covina, West Covina, and you had one room in there with little airplanes, that, you know, and stuff like that. She was a wonderful, wonderful person. I got pictures of her. How come I didn't bring any?
Well, I was mainly picking out the ones with.
Oh,
Joe
'cause remember I
Green
heard one of
yeah.
her and what's his name?
Is Miss Lillian Kyle still alive?
No, they're gone. All these people are gone. I don't know why I'm still here.
To tell these
But-
stories.
But they told me that after the age of 80, if you live that long, you don't die. You wear out.
Oh.
So I'm still wearing out. You know, I'm still wearing out. My grandpa was 93, 94, 95, and he's still drinking wine and didn't smoke anymore.
Wow.
You know, and then he called me one day and he said, "Barry," I said, he didn't call me Barry, he called me Betty. Betty? I said, "Yes, Grandpa, where are you?" Little short guy. He says, "I'm tired." He said, "I'm tired." And I said, "Okay, Grandpa, you're okay." And then very shortly after that, he passed away. He just got tired, you know, but he had a wonderful life. His house where he lived had a big backyard. It had chickens and had rabbits and had all kinds of plants in there, fig trees and avocado trees and lettuce and tomatoes and everything growing in his yard. But he didn't have a car. He worked in the foundry. We would pick him up and take him to the foundry, and he'd work in the foundry. He had a bicycle that he took to the market to buy. He got oil, cooking oil. His wife would take the tomatoes and make the paste tomato for spaghetti, and lots of spaghetti. You know, and lots of people went there during hot weather. He had a big patio with grapes, vines growing above it, you know, and stuff like that. They'd sit out there and drink wine and sing. It was beautiful.
Did you say you've been back to Korea to visit?
Oh, I would love to.
Oh. Why
But then
didn't
again,
you?
I don't want to.
Oh.
You know why? Because it's not the Korea I left. Like you're who you are now, you're beautiful, you're young and beautiful. 30 years from now, who knows what you'll look like? You won't be young and beautiful anymore, that's for sure. You'll be older and beautiful, okay. Once we were young and beautiful, now we're just beautiful. So I've seen pictures and photos of it. It's like New York, like I said. It's a big, giant industrial work, and the people are great. I can believe because it happened. Well, you can't believe, yes you do, because it happened. You're like my son, and you're like my daughter, you know? And we have a relationship that I don't know why we have such a relationship, but we do. We went there to a country that we never heard of. I never heard of Korea before. I didn't know the people, I didn't know the country, I didn't know nothing. But of all the places we went, you can't compare any other place, Germany, Japan, or maybe Italy, you can, because I know the Italians. They were that close as being brother and sister, and uncle and aunt, or whatever. You know, it's just the way it is. I don't know why, but that's the way it is. I guess God knows why. And there we are. And there I am, here I am, goodbye. That's it. We had the hours up.
Yeah. Well, Ken, by chance, do you have any questions?
Yeah, these are just specific details I thought maybe you could answer. Where were you, like, in Korea when you met the Royal Marines?
I was at the Chosun Reservoir.
Chosun Reservoir.
Yeah.
Do you know anything about the Tokdong Pass?
About the what?
Tokdong Pass?
That's a pass, you said?
Yeah, Tokdong Pass.
Tokdong.
Is that on the map?
I heard a few veterans talk about that too. Tokdong Pass.
Let's see what we got here. UDMD.
Yeah, there was a...
Tong Tong Kot Yotong. Y-O-K-T-O-N-G.
Yo.
Pass, right there. Right above Hagaroo.
Yeah, from my understanding, I'm aware that there was a convoy from Yeondam to Hagaru, and it consisted of the 5th and the 7th Marines, but as far as I'm concerned, I'm not sure.
It's on the map.
It's on the map.
Yeah, Yeongtong is right above Chosun.
Right.
You see it?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
What could you tell me about the pass?
I didn't get that far up.
Can you get
I got as far as Chosun. Or what I would say, Chosun.
That's it?
Yeah.
A lot of them went up further, excuse me, and went up further, turned around, came back down because they ran into 3,000 Chinese, or 30,000 Chinese, 300,000, I don't know how many there was, like ants. Oh, I gotta tell you about that. The Royal Marines.
Oh, would it be okay to take off your glasses?
Oh, excuse me.
Thank you.
We're walking down the road and there's smoke coming from over the mountainside over there. And so let's go see what it's all about. We climb the mountain and look over the top, and we look down probably, I would say around 300 Chinese having lunch. And how I counted them, I learned to count by section. Here, see the square? Square, square, 10 in the square, 10 more, 10 more, 10 more, like that. That's how I learned to count. And so we added it all together, and I would estimate at least 300. Wow, that's a lot of people. They were all wearing white. They were eating rice, and they got these big bowls, cooking rice out there. And we looked at them, and we looked at each other, and don't move, don't say anything, don't shoot, don't do nothing. So we just sat there and waited till about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. They all left. I don't know where they went, maybe back to their guns positions. And then a little bit later, in the late afternoon, I had the howitzers fire one round. It's called a marker shell, and it landed over here. And then they told them, you gotta move it to the left, about 500 yards or whatever. And they fired one more round. It was pretty darn close. And that's it. No more. Stop right there. The next day, we didn't do anything. They all came and ate again. And the next day they came and ate again. Well, then 5 howitzers over here opened up on them. 5 howitzers over here opened up on them and blew them all to hell. God, there was rice flying and people flying, pots flying in the air, and they totally destroyed the whole bunch. That's what happens. You know, it was a bad thing in me because it upset me. You know, it was murder again, I felt like. And when I got home, it kept coming back to me, what happened, and I didn't like what happened. Although they were out to kill, they would have shot me, killed me, if they had a chance. It's just the way I felt about things. And other people felt the same way I did, I'm sure. That there's war, and then there's murder.